We need the audio for the presentation.
Untold stories. Hidden stories of inspiration. Brought to you by TechCamp 2013. Team 13. Untold stories of survivors, which could be a source of empowerment. Told stories which are or could be construed as exploitative. A cross-platform methodology for allowing survivors to tell and control their own stories. A 5-day workshop to help survivors benefit from learning the art of storytelling. Survivors will learn how to use simple technologies to tell their stories. Six months later, survivors will be asked how and if they want to use their digital stories.
So this is our concept, which recognizes the empowering nature of using storytelling as an outlet for healing, but also the potential pitfalls around re-traumatization and exploitation and safety of survivors. In response, we want to offer a 5-day training workshop to survivors from various NGOs who are at an appropriate stage in their rehabilitation and healing that they feel that this would be a helpful outlet for them. The workshop will have various components, including covering what is the concept of storytelling and how is it empowering. Exposure to various storytelling media, so photography, voice recording, video, text, blogging, timelines, drawing, comics, animation, poetry, or any combination of media to give maximum choice to survivors. And also the potential to conceal identity throughout that. We would also propose to work with storytelling experts, art therapists, drama and dance therapists, and counsellors to help survivors construct the story that they want to tell. The technical component is very simple. All the facilitators will need to know how to do is to use a basic tablet and download apps which can help to put the story into the format that the survivor wants at the end. We will emphasize choice in every stage of this process, how the story is told and the media through which it is told. And we want to emphasize that the survivor owns the final product at the end. They will be visited 6 months later for monitoring and evaluation to check whether this was an empowering process for them or not. And also what they would like to do next, if anything at all. If they would like to use their story further, we discussed some potential ideas that this could be used and really tapping into a lot of other technologies and ideas that other people have discussed over the last 2 days. So things like using these stories on these kinds of geomaps that people have been talking about. We could plot this kind of qualitative evidence as well. We could use it to foster communities amongst survivors. We could also use these kinds of stories for community-level outreach to reduce stigma. Could also have the potential to alleviate survivor fatigue of retelling stories. Does anyone else want to add?
By sharing stories, it can also be used to reduce stigma in the communities. So often survivors go back to their communities and they face a lot of stigma about what they've experienced. So their stories can either be shared in ways where they privacy normally telling their story. And also, when survivors express a desire to share their story, there would be a lot of education provided to kind of make them aware of the implications of different methods of sharing their story. So if they think it would be cool to share their story on the internet, maybe giving them a little more information to know what exactly that means and who has access to it if they choose to do that, if they choose to put their story out there for the World Wide Web. Because I think a lot of us understand what that means, but someone in a rural village in Kendall province might not understand what that actually means and how it might make them vulnerable to be exploited again. So there will be a large education component at the end of the workshop as well.
Thank you.
Following up on what you just said, how exactly do you think that the storytelling mechanism could reduce stigma?
Just by raising awareness of the fact that this isn't an isolated event, that it happens throughout the world, that human trafficking isn't isolated to one country or one village or even just one family. So by empowering survivors to share their stories, just making the survivor aware that it's not their isolated event and that they're alone in feeling what they experience, and kind of sharing that awareness with their family as well.
About the stigma, we will use these materials as an advocacy to reduce stigma and also to address this apathy, because no one wants to talk about prostitution, trafficking. But if you use these as tools for the public to increase their understanding about trafficking, because there are many people who think that trafficking is only flying, transporting from one country to the other. There is also domestic trafficking, which is a training ground for those who are vulnerable to become trafficked internationally. So this is one of our goals.
And by using creative mediums like drawing, which can then be captured on a tablet, it also means that first-hand personal stories can be told without the survivor's identity being revealed. So that can be taken directly to the community to help communicate the first-hand experience of trafficking and help, hopefully, to reduce stigma.